one is your favorite? So when I bought the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, I wasn't sure if I was just buying into a gimmick because these do seem like one of those like futuristic accessories that would have belonged on a show like Totally Spies or Spy Kids. And it is really cool. I wasn't sure if this was something that was pretty much exclusively for the tech bros, the tech enthusiasts, which I am admittedly kind of someone like that. But I wanted to know if I would use this regularly in my everyday life as just like a normal girly who likes to take some photos and videos and listen to some music on the go. So I recently packed my Meta glasses on a family trip to Montreal, and I was able to use these as a really lightweight piece of tech and kind of a camera as well to capture content, listen to music on the airplane, on the train ride, get some things done, talk to Meta AI, and get some answers while I was on the go. And I have some thoughts on this little piece of tech, and low-key, it's becoming one of my favorite things to travel with. Let's start with the basics. I think these are pretty cute. To me, you almost can't even tell these are tech glasses, which is kind of exactly what I need to actually wear something like this in public. And almost nobody noticed that these were tech glasses, so they really fit in really seamlessly with my life. The only thing I would say is if you're looking at these, to get the transition pair, because I think that if I didn't have transition lenses, I would like this a lot less than I do. I think it would cut my use case scenario about in half. Because this is clear when I'm inside and there's sunglasses outside, I'm able to use it both inside and outside. And I know that if it was just one or the other, I wouldn't use it like half as much as I do right now. So that's definitely something I think is worth a little bit extra money. The camera is a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, and it's honestly better quality than I thought it was gonna be. It shoots in vertical format up to 3 minutes at a time, which sounds like it's not a lot of time, but is kind of plenty in a lot of scenarios where you would be shooting just organically without your hand. In low light, it's not as great, but for quick point of view shots, it's so easy to pull out and use. You don't usually even have to pull it out because it's right on your face. And all you need to do is click on this little button in the top right and it records. And you'll know it's recording because this little light will flash. And I actually think this is like pretty non-intrusive and you're able to record. Your camera is actually on the other side here. This is a notification light and it's there for safety. At first, I thought this was going to make things like interactions with people super, super awkward, but I find that it's pretty subtle, and for safety reasons, I totally understand why this needs to be there. My favorite thing about this is since it's a wearable, I was able to use both of my hands, and I was also able to be a part of a lot of the experiences that I would otherwise have had my phone out for or my camera out for, and this allowed me to really be a part of the experience versus thinking about framing things. And I found that to be really nice, especially just to capture regular moments. I put this on while I was going for a walk and captured a couple of minutes on my walk, and it did not interrupt the feeling that I was getting while on that walk because I wasn't overthinking framing or what the shot looked like or anything like that. I was just simply capturing the experience as I was living it, which I think is pretty cool, especially since tech is always, I feel like, screaming for your attention these days. And this was really just part of my experience, and it wasn't like an active part of my experience. Basically, my whole trip that I was wearing it, it acted as normal glasses, and when I wanted it to be a camera or I wanted it to be my headphones, it was able to be that, but it wasn't intrusive and I didn't feel obligated to pick it up and use it, if that makes sense. One of the downsides of that though is this is virtually impossible to frame. You can't actually see what your camera is picking up. You don't know what's in frame, so sometimes you're shooting something and you're completely missing what you intend to shoot. Your camera is a little bit off to the left here, so you have to kind of intentionally think about that. I think I will get better at this over time, but some of these videos that I thought I was taking turned out to be kind of completely different than I thought. The other thing, if you have long hair like I do, just be aware of your hair, because I ruined like a million shots because my hair would blow in front of the camera. And I also find that the footage can look a little bit shaky as well. And again, I think that is mostly because when I am holding my phone or a camera to take a video, I'm holding it pretty intentionally still. I am panning it in an intentional way. And the way that I am filming with this, I'm just like whipping my hair around, looking at whatever I am looking at in the moment. I'm not thinking about having a nice and smooth shot. So a lot of my footage comes out looking like pretty jerky. And again, I think it might just be the nature of the camera. It is a pretty small camera though. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the results. There are just some minor issues that I notice when I'm using it. And honestly, I bought this for the camera, but what I have been so impressed by are the speakers. These are pretty decent speakers in here, and I've not actually had a lot of experience with open ear speakers, and maybe I should after this, because I found the experience of being able to listen to music or podcasts while still being very seamlessly integrated in my regular world and able to hear and be aware of what's going on around me was something that made me feel very, very safe. And I also love being able to listen to music on the go in that way as well. I was able to wear these in airports, on trains, and still be able to hear people calling out what stop we were at. So I didn't feel like I was gonna miss something, and I was still able to use my time, whether that was to edit a video or to listen to a podcast without bothering someone beside me and still be aware of what was going on in my surroundings. And I find that to be honestly kind of a game changer for me. And the speakers on these are pretty awesome. I use them both on a train and on a plane, and I cranked them all the way up, and the person beside me was not bothered at all. It still was very subtle and private. If you put it up all the way, it is like way too loud for your ears just anyway, and it might sound like a little bit like if you had an AirPod and you turned your volume up way too loud. You could hear like a little something, but you wouldn't be able to tell like what the person next to you is listening to, just that they have their audio turned up really loud. But the way that the speakers are positioned, I guess, it makes it so you're mostly hearing things and the person beside you really doesn't hear it at all. And now in my everyday life, I find myself reaching for these more than I reach for my AirPods, especially if I'm going to be doing errands, if I'm going to go to a coffee shop, if I'm going to be walking around at all. I want to be aware of my surroundings, but I still want to listen to music, and I still want to be able to like edit on my phone or my computer without bothering people around me. And I find this is a really, 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 really great way to do that. And if it didn't have a camera, I would still like these glasses for the speakers alone, which I feel like says a lot about the speaker quality on this. It does have voice control, so you can tell it to do things, and you can talk to Meta and ask questions about pretty much anything the way you would use something like Alexa or Siri. But I find that I don't use any of those audio controls a lot. So if that's something that you do use, it is available to you. But I just don't use that kind of stuff. I would rather like click the button myself. And that's what I found myself doing like 99% of the time. One thing I don't love is the battery life on this thing, but I will say it comes with a charging case. This is where you would just charge it anyway, and it holds extra storage. So it's essentially like carrying around a portable charger for your glasses, and it takes up the same amount of space as your standard sunglass case would anyway, which again is really nice. This is like a really nice thing to throw in your purse because it's not gonna take up any more space than what you would have already carried around to begin with. And I find this charges pretty fast, and it holds a few full charges in here. So if you're going in somewhere and you're not going to use your speakers or your camera for a little while, I would just take it off and throw it in here. And then that battery issue becomes less of a problem, mostly because you're able to carry so much charge in this case. So do I think this thing is perfect? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. Would I have this replace something like my camera or my headphones on a more permanent basis? No, of course not. But I think this is a really great supplemental piece of tech. And I do find myself using this way, way, way more than I thought I would. And it's something that I totally will still be carrying in my purse on a regular basis. I actually just got these for my dad as well. I love them so much. I would totally buy them again, and I would 100% recommend them, of course, only if you go in there knowing what its limitations are. So I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. It helps out this little channel so much, and I will catch you next time. Bye.